It is often said that in India's governance structure, and this is something you will find the Print's editor-in-chief, Mr. Shekhar Gupta, say very often, that in India's governance structure, there are three positions that matter. All else is just there. But there are three positions that matter: the one of the PM, the CM, the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister, and the DM, the District Magistrate, just by the virtue of the power that these three positions wield. And in Yes Mantriji, of course, our focus is on the third, that is the district magistrate. A few weeks ago, we saw that the Kerala government appointed its 10th woman district magistrate. So, out of the 14 districts in Kerala, now 10 are headed by women officers. So this was obviously a very encouraging statistic. It was very well received on social media as well. And as I was scrolling through the comments on social media, I saw that even in Delhi, out of the 11 positions of district magistrates, 9 are held by women. So these two, Kerala and Delhi, turn out to be extremely encouraging data points. But as I thought, that encouraging as they may be, lone data points can often be misleading. So I decided to analyze the data for women representation in the position of DMs for across the country.
Over the last few days, I have analyzed data for 716 districts across the country.
And for some districts, data was not available on the government websites, so I left them out. And what I found was what I feared, that the number of women district magistrates in India continues to be abysmal.
Out of the 716 districts that I analyzed, only 142 are held by women. That amounts to just 19%.
Among the 20 largest states by population that I analyzed, Haryana fared the worst. Because out of the 22 districts in Haryana, only one, that is Hisar, is headed by a woman. Chhattisgarh, 7% women. Bihar, 8% women. Gujarat, 9% women. And Madhya Pradesh, 10% women district magistrates. So these are the worst performing states. Among the best performing states, we of course have Delhi. I'm counting Delhi as a state because, unlike other union territories, Delhi government appoints its own district collectors. Delhi is at the top with 81% representation for women district collectors. Kerala comes right after with 71%. West Bengal with 39% women as district magistrates, followed by Assam and Punjab, which have 27% women as district magistrates. And now, as the data shows, that even among these so-called top performing states, Punjab and Assam have less than 30% women holding the position of DMs. So then I also analyzed this data on the basis of NDA versus non-NDA ruled states, and what I found was that the NDA ruled states fared much worse than the non-NDA ruled states when it came to appointing women as district magistrates.
Under the NDA ruled states, only 14% of the positions of DMs are held by women, versus the non-NDA states where 26% of these positions are held by women.
If you see in the northeast, states which are mostly held by ruled by the NDA, the representation is particularly low. So if you see, Nagaland and Sikkim have no women district magistrates. I was also then curious to know what are the kind of districts that women are appointed as DMs in. Are they seen as somewhat more comfortable districts? Are women given postings in districts that are seen as challenging? And the one criterion that I found was districts that the government categorizes as those affected by left-wing extremism, or LWE affected districts. And of the 47 districts that were categorized as LWE affected until 2021, I found that only 7 districts are headed by women. that is just 15%. Now, this data by and large corroborates the anecdotal accounts of women who have served as IAS officers, who often have alleged that they face discrimination even after competing through the same examination as the men. They face discrimination in terms of postings and transfers. Now, the one sort of natural question that occurs to anyone is how many women are actually getting into the IAS. So that figure itself is not particularly encouraging. In if until the 1970s there were less than 10% women who were entering the IAS in the first place. Over the last 4 to 5 to 6 perhaps years, this number has only increased to 30%. So this figure is quite abysmal, that only 30% women are making it to the IAS in the first place. But even after they come to the IAS, they then start facing challenges in terms of their postings, and the position of the district magistrate, as I have probably said in some of my earlier episodes as well, is the first brush with real power that IAS officers really have. And it is at this level itself, as the data shows, that women start facing discrimination. Now, for those of you who are interested in bureaucracy, which I assume a lot of you are, who are watching this show are, there is a book I highly recommend reading called Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About the Bureaucracy But Were Afraid to Ask, by Mr. T.R. Raghunandan, who is a former IAS officer himself. In this book, in the afterword, another IAS officer, former IAS officer, Ms. Renuka Vishwanathan, writes that from the very early decades post independence, women in the service have routinely been denied the position of district collectors. Why? This is probably because, and she says in fact that this is because the position of the DM is seen as one that has a lot of power, and two, it is seen as a 24/7 job where your family life, so to speak, takes a backseat. You are expected to be on the field and be on the field at odd hours whenever your duty so requires. But it turns out that even people within the service believe that for women who do share disproportionately sort of higher responsibilities when it comes to the domestic sphere, they are sort of ill-suited for these positions. That is one reason. And secondly, to get important positions in the IAS, even once you have made it in the IAS, like any other profession, it requires a lot of hustling. It requires hustling with politicians and also your own seniors in the service. So this requirement of hustling acts as another impediment for women when it comes to getting good positions. So given that the discrimination or the disadvantages of being a woman start at the very beginning of these positions of DMs for women, it is no surprise that as you keep rising higher up in the bureaucracy or in the civil services, we see fewer and fewer women in positions of power. According to data that was compiled by India Spend, as of January 2022, for example, there were just 14% women serving as secretaries to the government of India. That is, 13 out of the total 92 positions were held by women. Moreover, India has never seen, in all these almost 8 decades, India has never seen a cabinet secretary, a home secretary, or a defense secretary who has been a woman. Thank you so much for watching, and I realize that this has been a very data heavy episode of Yes Mantri Ji. So I have also written a piece which has put all this data together, which you will find on the Print website, and its link will be given in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with another episode.